Bad Brad joining you here on a glorious, glorious Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Backstage with Bad Brad. And we are live. How you doing, everybody? What's happening? All right, let's get those likes up. We've got Dave Strong with us, and we're glad to have him with us tonight. Chris Michael J is over there down under. We've got people from all over the world here watching. Freddie B is here. What's happening, everybody? Man, I'm glad to be here. It's been an amazingly busy day. Paul is here with the wrench. Dave is here with the wrench. Leah is here. How you doing? Chris A is here. Freddie B. I'm right here, Freddie. I'm right here, brother. Yes, indeed. Erickson is here. And the demos went good, Paul. It went really good, man. I've got a ton of footage I got to edit. And he was already asking me back, wanted me to give him some more dates. So, yeah, I went today to replay Guitar Exchange in Tampa, right? And demoed a bunch of really nice and really expensive Fender Custom Shop Strats. And so I've got some footage that I shot, and yes, FMP. I hope you have your Nikes on, brother. Please put your Nikes on. We are now transmitting. Yes, it is a mega store, dude. Their guitar collection in there is amazing. So yeah, that went really well, and we might be doing more stuff in the future. Hey, awesome. Joey is at the Florida Folk Festival. Glad to have you dropping in with us. And man, it's been a busy day, a good day, unusual day, and a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun doing that, man. And probably will do more stuff with them down the line. I got a ton of work to editing all that footage. Maybe Rhonda is playing her PRS. Yes, she might be. So that's what's going on, man. I'm having a little sparkling water with you on a Saturday night, and let's get the thumbs up, right? Everybody hit the thumbs up. Let's get the room rocking tonight, right? Let's get it. Let's get our focus on the Krokus, and let's be rocking like docking, right? Dave's got his Motorhead shirt. We're gonna woo it up on a Saturday night, and as it always is on this show, it's driven by your chat. So if you have a question, yes, and if you have the wig, you're gonna get the gig. But yes, if you long stick goes boom. Okay, that's good. So Dan is posing the question, and I'll get back to the Krokus thing, but he said it would be curious to see how much guitar sales are compared to the 80s, 90s. I bet it's steady decline since no guitar sounds on the radio these days to be inspired. Yeah, I don't know, man. COVID was a huge boost to guitar sales. All of a sudden, people were stuck at home and buying guitars. So much so that the market got flooded with guitars for a little while there. But so Krokus and I think it was FMP said long stick goes boom. Okay, I think one of the humorous things about yes, Ricky, glad to have you here. One of the hilarious things about the hair metal era, right, is the songs, let's say the phallic subject matter of the songs, right? And to name a song, Long Stick Goes Boom, tonight, Long Stick Goes Boom. When that era ended, when that whole genre of 80s hard rock ended, and look, Krokus was a lot like AC/DC in that time period. And in some ways, man, they may have had the better singer. I think, especially in the Brian Johnson era, the singer for Krokus was really good, really good. But maybe not the songs, right? But again, getting back to the subject matter, it just cracks me up. It's like that teenage boy, kind of joke, mental jokes, uh, and singing about your long stick is gonna go boom tonight. It's funny to me. And screaming in the night, that's another one. And look, I saw a clip of the singer for Krokus talking about Screaming in the Night, right? Which is another song that, yeah, the video is wild, right? The video for that song is wild. And he was writing the song, imagining himself and the position that he was in. So if you can imagine, Krokus was on tour, right? And perhaps his loved one, his woman was at home, and he's out on the road screaming in the night, fighting for his life. I died for you. I mean, if you had to go out there every night and sing like that, right? Fight for your life through this. It had to have been crazy, right? Being in Krokus. And look, Krokus may have been a headliner at times, but they also were probably opening for a lot of maybe bigger bands, bigger arena acts. And I thought that was an interesting perspective about that song, because yeah, I can imagine feeling like that. I'm screaming in the night, fighting for my life. I died for you. And maybe he's singing that to his girlfriend while she's at home thinking, oh, you're out having the time of your life. And you're having the time of your life when you're on the road. But yeah, dude, Freddie is saying it. That is some hard stuff to sing night after night, dude. Can you imagine singing like that and screaming in the night, fighting for his life, and you feel like you're being put on the cross each night. You're marching you out there and throw you to the lions, throw them to the lions. And you go out there and do your gig. So I thought that was an interesting aside. And since I've been saying rockin' like dockin' and focus on the Krokus, I thought I'd start off with a little Krokus story tonight. Now, we're glad to have P-Funk and Dave Strong both here, the brothers Funk, right? Who cries for the children? I do. And that's another one. Somebody mentioned the other day the Stars song, the Dio tribute. We're Stars, right? Their answer to We Are the World, and that beginning of the whole video. Who cries for the children? I do. I mean, dude, that is so frigging hilarious. Amazing singer, Paul, absolutely. And some amazing performances on that whole thing. And I liked what they were going for. But it's funny nonetheless, right? So yeah, that's it, man. We're having an amazing Saturday. So what's the deal? Who's got the good questions tonight? There's always somebody that comes in and has like the killer question. Bo Dragon is saying Vito Bratta was great in a horrible band. Well, I wasn't a huge fan of White Line and their songs, but he had to have those type of poppy, happy songs in order to play those kind of killer solos, right? Those songs were very melodic. Maybe not as cool as a Rat song or a Van Halen song, but that that whole Vito, as much as you may not like that band, he shined in that format. So, it is what it is. And yeah, so that's good stuff, man. Right on. Did Mark Free changing to Marcy Free kill King Cobra? Well, Chris, I can't answer that question. I think that band was over long before all that went down. I think it was. Here's the thing, man. You know, that's a unusual situation, you know, but it is what it is. The guy had an incredible high range, and maybe, maybe inside, maybe he had more female hormones. That would be an interesting thing to think about. If a guy has a really high voice, do they have more female hormones? I don't know. If you know, let me know. So, Rhonda is here. Glad to have you here. Rogue Species is in the house. And we got 74 people in here, but only 19 thumbs up. So that's unacceptable. We've got to get this going up. So that's the deal, man. Let's get the thumbs up. Let's get it cooking tonight. Richard Black, always wonder about Richard Black and Shark Island. What do you wonder about them? Shark Island was a great band, and Richard Black influenced Axl Rose greatly. But, Axl maybe got to market first. And Black 22, Mr. Tim Hardiman is in the house. Glad to have you here. So yeah, man, Shark Island was another one of those legends, right? And I tell you what, if anybody's on Facebook and you want to see blasts from the past, there's a guy named Ruben Blue, right? And he's the former publisher of Rock City News, which was the big LA magazine. I don't know if I have mine over here, but he was the photographer and the publisher of this big LA rock zine, right? And he's got a Facebook page, and he posts all of these photos he took, all of that whole era. Now he shot that era in black and white largely, from what I can tell. Cadaver Films. Welcome to Blues King. Glad to have you here, sir. Glad to have new members, right? Yeah. So add Ruben Blue on Facebook. I'm just gonna send. He'd probably get mad. Why are you sending all these people? But man, he's been posting all these pictures. A lot of them of the Gazzari dancers and stuff from shows from Gazzaris and stuff like that. And yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, let's see who we got here. Yeah, congratulations. Now, yeah, we got new peeps. We got it. Look, I've been noticing something every morning, and I want to send a shout out to Paul and Mike H and Dave Strong, who are the regular three moderators for this channel, right? Paul has had to, dip out during the week because he's got, work. And Dave now has his gym thing, during the weekdays. So we've had, some of our regular guys have had to, drop out at times. Of course, they'll come back when they can. But here's the wild thing. I've been noticing more and more people coming in, fresh, new people. So, man, I'm thankful for our regulars, and thankful that we're growing. We're growing, right? So, yeah, it's very cool, man. It's very cool to have everybody. Mr. Cheswick, I'm glad to see you here. Wavelength, I haven't seen Wavelength in a while. John, thank you so much, John Beckel. Very much appreciated. And look, you guys are all part of these live broadcasts because I try to. Rhonda says fresh meat. Now, boys, Rhonda says you're fresh meat. But here's the deal. Yeah, Brett has 4 aces. The 3, yeah, I got the 3 aces and the 1 at home. That's absolutely right. So yeah, we're glad to have, man, we're glad to have all you guys here, and everybody that's cool. And I agree, Mr. Cheswick, Ace should be president. I absolutely agree with that. But man, you know what? We've had a great week and a half. Lots of people tuned into the channel. It's going to be a decent month. I'm not going to be buying a Lamborghini, but yeah, man, it's been really good. And you know what? To the people that become members of the channel, and the membership is growing, right? We've got, I think, maybe now 80 members, right? And the members get access to 80, I think it's around 80 something videos right now that are all in the members archive. And you members actually help shape the channel, because I'm able to look at the analytics and see when I put videos in the members section, see which ones get the most views among the members, see which ones get the most likes in the members. I'll literally get up in the morning and look at all the members' videos and see which ones have the highest numbers, and strategically use those to put out. So it's really driven by the members. The members of the channel really kind of shape the channel and where it's going. So man, shout out to all the members. Thank you all. Yeah, and everybody, let's get a thumbs up, man. Here's it. IMK, loved your video on the industry transition from metal to grunge, but what's your take on how funk, psychedelic disco dance was shelved in the 70s, early 80s? Okay. That's an interesting thing, man. I heard somebody say in another comment that they had taken funk and wiped out funk music and replaced it with disco. And that's interesting, man, because funk was a lot more organic. Funk was a lot rawer. Funk was funkier than disco. Now, I didn't have an aversion to disco. Some of it, right? If it had a good bass line, if it had a funky guitar part, I was okay with it. But I get why people had the aversion to disco, because disco was a DJ, and a DJ started replacing bands in clubs. And that is why people, had an aversion to disco, because it was disrupting things, right? But I can't say, so I think there was funk first, right? And then disco. And in the 80s, right, I think you had funk bands. I liked a lot of 80s funk bands, like the Gap Band, right? You had Cameo, right? I liked Cameo a lot. You had Prince, right? And what else? Maybe a couple others that were less known, right? Word Up, exactly, Cadaver. So I can't say that stuff ended in the 80s. Now the 90s was definitely, it seemed like it was either hip hop or that whiny R&B, though crying over some young lady R&B ballads. It was like two different things. A sappy, it's like the power ballads of hard rock version in the R&B, right? And then the hip hop. So the funk got absorbed by hip hop. Hip hop started using funk samples and recycling those grooves and stuff. But you know what? Things come and go, Yeah, FMP, you do indeed drop the on me. Exactly. I really like that stuff. I think Rick James, and that's another funk artist, Rick James and the Gap Band, all that stuff back in the day, dude. You want to get a party started, put that stuff on, get the tunes going, and the police were funky, but they weren't a funk band. Listen to When the World is Running Down. I think that song is extremely funky. So, yeah. Hey, Erica Badu. Now that's Scott. Scott would know more about that than me. I don't know a ton about her, but what I have heard is very good. Very good. I know you call Tyrone. You better call Tyrone, right? Isn't that one of her tunes? Yeah, D'Angelo. D'Angelo with Pino Palladino on bass. That's some serious stuff. The Roots. Yeah, so I guess funk is still alive. And now what you have is like you got Corey Wong, and you got I don't know, some of these modern funk groups, they're not as raw as the real deal funk groups of the 70s. The real deal funk bands of the 70s had a Jimi Hendrix style guitar player and Dirty Loops. Yeah, that stuff, Christian. Yeah, thank you for that. Man, what would be cool is to have a 70s style funk band and have the guitar player in bell bottoms, and his pedal board could be a fuzz face and a wah-wah, and have a stack of Marshalls behind him. And then, the usual funk band, some dude with a jazz bass, all white jazz bass, with a big stack behind him. And the drummer with the clear drums. Remember the clear drums like Bonham had, but that kind of thing, and having some guy who his main singing voice is ow, bye, have that guy. If we could have a group like that, old school, yeah, Big Muff and a Sun amp, something like that. Now, wouldn't that be cool? Almost what Lenny Kravitz kind of does. Lenny Kravitz is a throwback, right? But of course, he's a legacy act now. But an old school funk act. Yes, Paul, what's going on, brother? Do we have an issue? Randy has a question. Okay, do I need to go back? Let me see what Randy's got. Let me get back here. Randy, do you attack guitar depending on the gig setting, stadium versus restaurant, for example? Randy, that's a great question, and I'm gonna address that. Yes, you absolutely have to change your approach, your rig, your attire, your attitude, all of that depending on the gig, right? And your approach and everything is completely different. And Scott can tell you this. He's a gigging guitar player. All the guys out there that are playing gigs, it's different, man. That's why when a call comes in and you're going to play a gig, well, where is it? It depends on the music, right, Scott? It depends on the music. It depends on the venue. And here's the deal. If they're requiring you to wear a tuxedo, that was always there was something about it. You could have the funkiest band in the world, right? But if we were all up there sweating our asses off in these tight ass tuxedos that we're having to squeeze into because we never wear it unless they make us wear it. And then you've got this crusty tuxedo on and you're like this and it's squeezing you and everything. We'd always say, man, it's hard to be funky in a tuxedo, man. So yeah, you've got to change your approach. You got to see how the situation requires. Some gigs, man, you just stand in one spot and just play. Sometimes you're just background music. Sometimes you're the whole entertainment of the whole room. So it really just depends on the situation. So okay. So what else we got? What else we got? I'm ready for some good questions. That was a good question. Yeah, what was that? Average White Band was very good. Yeah, they're a very good band, very good funk band. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for pointing that out. Have you thought about putting your Zen-like intro outros for like a meditation CD and call it either the Chill Pill or Chill Out Bro? Maybe put some of your motivation dialogue between them. That's a good idea, Shane. I've thought about doing something like that. I've thought about, I could take the audio. I wonder how long, like on Spotify, how long you can post audio clips. What if I took some of my best monologues and put them up on Spotify, like a podcast or something like that? I mean, I don't know anything about podcasts, and do people even listen to podcasts? I don't know. But I'm always looking for new formats, just like I'm now on TikTok a little bit. I'm stepping up on Instagram a little bit. And I'll get to that, Chris. I'll get to that question. And what's the other one I'm doing? I guess Facebook, but I've always done that. So today, when I went down to demo guitars at Replay Guitar Exchange, I thought about bringing my pedal board, right? So I could kind of dial in some different tones. But I'm like, you know what? That would be like bringing sand to the beach, right? So I'm going into a guitar shop that has like 1,000 guitars in there, right? So I went down there. I didn't bring anything except my phone, which is my camera, and a stand, a tripod for the phone. And we went in the amp room, and I knew I was going to be demoing. We picked out off the wall. I got to pick out, I think it was 3 Strats and a Tele, all custom shop. It just turned out that every one I picked out was limited edition. Maybe I just have an eye for it, but I was like, that one looks pretty cool, and that one looks pretty cool, and hey, what about that one? I've always had a good eye for picking out something that's good. What's up, Joff? Joff, how you doing, brother? And so I picked out 3 Strats because they wanted to do the Strats. And then he said, what about a Tele? And I said, well, I'm not a country player, but yeah. So we used we went in the amp room, and I knew I was doing these Fender guitars, and a Fender guitar and a Fender amp. It's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer as far as sound. So they had a Fender Princeton with a green Tolex with an upgraded speaker of some kind. I think maybe a 12. And they slapped a mic in front of it, and I turned up the reverb a little bit and set it up for a clean tone. And then just to be able to get some overdriven tones, but nothing high gain. Oh, look who we got. We've got a special guest. It looks like Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa is here, bro.
What?
It's Dua Lipa.
No, I'm going to go rage next door. The music is pumping.
Dude, we have got neighbors across the street.
This is what they look like the next day.
This is what you're coming out of the house, except they're dejected. So put your head down and shuffle out of the house. Now, I have had a lot of experience going to parties that last for 2 or 3 days, right?
Sure you have.
And I know when I get up at 4 a.m. to take the dog out, or use the bathroom myself, and I see the light still on and the faint hint of the
No, I mean, it's loud now.
I knew it when we pulled up. And Mike says that's how he leaves the house. Not in pink, though. Not in pink.
Oh, in pink?
No, not in pink.
Yes, in pink.
So So, look, they are
Danny's
raging.
family's our neighbors.
They
It might be. I don't know.
they are raging, right? They are raging, and they'll rage for days, right?
But let's be clear.
And
So it's a youngish couple that are probably maybe what, late 20s, early 30s.
I have no idea. I don't even.
Well, I talked to
Here's the other thing. You hardly ever see them. They're not out like the rest of the neighbors pruning or, doing stuff to their house or whatever. You never see them until all of a sudden, any kind of weekend. It could be Christmas weekend. It could be.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Bo,
Bo knows.
Bo, it gives me that vibe, Bo.
But it's so weird
Bo.
because these young people are sitting up in this $1 million house with one of them has their parents there.
Their parents. So it's the parents and then this young couple, right? And the parents are older, and there are some little kids. And she's like, well, how are they partying like that with these kids? Yes, it goes on for days. And she goes, well, how would these kids? I said, well, what about the old folks? I said, these old folks could be partying right with them. It could be partying right with them. So
they don't even speak English.
They don't speak English.
Somebody had to write them a letter in Spanish to tell them to pick up after their dog.
Now here's the other good one. Here's a good one. They in December for Christmas, they put up a nice star, right? They put up a nice star at their house, right?
And a nutcracker.
That
was about as tall as their house, like at least 10 feet tall.
Well, feet. A month after Christmas, the nutcracker went away.
Oh, the nutcracker went away in like February.
But it's now May, and this giant star is still up.
That's going to be for 4th of July.
They have left, and here's the deal. They have left their Christmas decorations up. Oh. There's the numbers. We're at 99 right now. We got 54 likes. Let's get the thumbs up. So these people are partying. And dude, when you hear, they no hablo inglés. And one of the dudes, we pulled up to the house today, and one of the dudes is, it's like a pool party rager for like days, right? And this guy comes out and he's sweating profusely and he's blowing his nose into wiping his nose with a handkerchief. I notice all these things. I have learned to notice these things. The guy comes out, he's got a handkerchief in his hand, he's sweating, he's wiping his nose with the handkerchief and yelling something in Spanish. And I just, you know what? It's long as it stays over there, bro.
And it's not like we live in some like horrible neighborhood.
It is what it is. We moved down here. Hey, I had my own issues when I lived in Nashville. I lived next to a trailer in West Nashville.
Not in the house.
Before we met, I lived in this house that was right next to a trailer, and I had white TRASH living next door.
An alligator housewarming.
Yes, cool Ramon. It gives those vibes. Hey, maybe they're just over there drinking carrot juice. And, sipping in calamine, you put calamine lotion on their poison ivy bites. I don't know what they're doing over there.
That's pretty
colorful. Oh, so Leah lives in West Nashville. Leah, I used to live on California Avenue. And there is, on California Avenue, there's a couple tall skinnies, like all lined up together. And then there's a trailer right there. My house was where one of those tall and skinnies was. So, yeah. Where's Megadeth recording in Nashville, Cadaver says. Would they be recording at, not Dan Huff. I think they did work with Dan Huff in the past, but there's that rock producer that produces there, but I don't know. When I lived in Memphis, I had two Next to me, I thought cats were fighting. Oh, well, there you go.
That's
So
funny.
there you go. That's what's going on. Dave's got it quiet. We don't have it. We don't have it quiet. But you know what? Here's the great thing.
It usually
When we
is
go to
quiet.
sleep, you don't hear it. The walls are very thick.
Yeah.
But if I go outside, like tonight, when I get up at 1 or 2 in the morning, I'll always look out the window. And here's a good one. One morning, I get up to shoot my videos, right? And it's 5:30 in the morning, and I'm out there and I'm whispering, I'm being very quiet, but their light comes on in the backyard, and then it cuts off. So who knows, dude?
If you were being too loud?
I was literally talking like this.
Oh, well, you should take the guitar, the one that
what I should do
on, that the electric
what
one,
I should do is take the Enya Inspire.
Yeah. That's
And walk over there, knock on the door, and be jamming some Santana, right?
Yeah, just
I'll take the Enya Inspire.
Just stand in our driveway and play it as loud as you can.
No, because here's the deal. There's people coming and going in and out of there, and then I'll be interacting with them. I'm trying to look. The previous version of Bad Brad would have gone over there and introduced himself. And then tap dancing, and all that. So yeah,
well, you're more than welcome.
I was
thinking about going over there.
No, well, you got to put the hoodie on, and when you leave in the morning, though, you got to look disheveled, and you got to put the head down and have a slight grimace on your face.
Well, actually, were you guys hearing Mia a few minutes ago? Were you hearing her?
No. What was going on?
She's the reason I came back here, because I'm in the living room watching Netflix, and I hear her screaming every other 5 minutes. And I go in there, and she's watching some kids play Minecraft or something, and she's getting all excited, and she's jumping up in her bed and waving her hands. I'm like, why would it be so exciting to watch somebody else play
video games? That's what the
kids
like, watching kids play video games. It's a thing.
Weird.
In fact,
should we start her a YouTube doing that?
No, but there are more channels on YouTube of kids streaming their sessions of playing video games. That's the most you will find on social media, and they will have more of those, but there's a ton of them that get no views. So it's not an easy thing to get views of you just playing a game. You've got to it's one of those things. You've got to Rhonda, I don't want to do that. I want her to do her own thing when she wants to. I don't want to.
Well, I did tell her today that
we got it. We do. She does have a bass, Scott.
Yeah.
We do have a bass, and I was in her room playing the bass, trying to show her something on the bass the other day. So.
Well, I did tell her.
Ace is playing Bitey Finger. They said.
Yes, he is. I did tell Mia today. I said, when you're 14, you can get a job, and she said, "No, I want to stay with you and Dad, live in your house, eat your food, and have." And she goes, and so you can also pay for my internet. I was like, what? I was like, I don't think so.
That ain't gonna happen.
No, no. Especially when she's, I don't know, she's starting to be very assertive. We were walking to a playground today, and she told, there was some music on in the background, and she goes, "Oh, this is classic music. I really like this."
Yeah, she likes classic rock.
Classic rock. I'm sorry, classic rock. And then we get in the car, and she's like, "You have to turn your music off and put my rock and roll on." I'm like,
well, I'm with her on that.
I'm like, "Yeah, you have to pay my car payment, and then we'll talk."
Because if I have to hear drink no ride, watermelon,
she did ask me to play Corn Makes the Luke Bryan song, something about corn makes whiskey, my baby makes little frisky. She does like some Luke Bryan. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, what do we got? The Panama dude. She still be singing that. Oh, here comes Big Boss Mia.
Yeah. Hey,
Maybe she's sleeping. So Big Boss Mia, my wife is trying to get Mia, and Mia goes, "No, I'm tired." She's tired from using our internet, dude. Cadaver is asking, have we seen the new? Oh, look who we got! Are you gonna come on?
Yes, and it's Michelangelo.
Okay, here we go. Here's Big Boss Mia
With
her giant Ninja Turtle.
So we do have some good neighbors because one neighbor bought this for Mia. So we do have some.
We've got
same
good
people.
neighbors.
Yeah, we do.
It's just unusual.
It's just one in the group that's a little off.
I mean, here's the thing, man. If you pay the price, you can live.
All right.
You know, and it's, but you don't know who you're going to live next to.
Oh, yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe at the end of this video.
Hear that, everybody? She says, don't forget to like and subscribe at the end of this video. In fact, we're going to tell you right now to go ahead and like and subscribe right now.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're almost at 17K. We are almost at...
We're going to get to 20K.
Yeah, we're gonna.
She likes country girls. Shake it for me.
We're gonna get. Okay, the screaming starts. It's time to take the party elsewhere.
Okay.
Why don't y'all go across the street?
Oh yeah. Do you think we can bring Michelangelo to the party?
Yes.
You think he would fit
Yes.
in?
Yes.
You think he would notice? All right. Tell everybody Happy Memorial Day.
Okay. Well, it's not really.
Memorial
It's
Day
not
weekend.
really something you say.
I hurt myself.
Okay, y'all be careful.
Okay.
Dad,
Be careful.
why would you put that there?
Yeah, I don't know, because your daddy just
Because I don't have a lot of room in my room.
Because he buys too much stuff.
Hey, what you got to do is put the shades on, bro.
Hey, you're messing with my GGs. And that doesn't stand for Dollar General, by the way.
Now I'm ready for the Elton John tribute act, right?
No, those.
What are these?
Dolce and Gabbana.
Oh,
You bought them
God.
for me for my birthday.
See what I get suckered into? You think
$10.
Oh yeah, they were $10. Exactly. So all right, you guys get out of here.
Ace is
Out.
gonna stay with you.
No, don't close the door if he's in here, because he'll scratch at the door. There he goes. All right. So, oh man, craziness. Yes, they can screech, Ramon. Yes. All right, so now we're back. We've got 102 people in here. Let's get the thumbs up. Let's keep it rocking. Thank you so much, Claude Fox. The wig is rocking. My wife got me some new shampoo last night, and it's doing good. I have 5 kids. Screeching is part of the deal. It certainly is. She has some pipes. She does. In fact, man, she's got a good voice, man. She's got a good voice. The singing thing might be her forte. Does it look like a wig? Well, Case, that's because I've got this is new technology. This is an AI wig. It's got artificial intelligence. Okay, Mia?
I'm just going to tell you one thing.
Okay, what's the one thing?
That's Spider-Man.
Okay, Spider-Man. All right, thanks, honey. All right, you guys, be careful. Let Ace out. Go on, Ace. Go on. All right, go on. All right, here we're back. We're back. All right. We didn't lose anybody. That's good. 106. Now, here's the deal, man. We're going to get this channel. I don't have, I have 100K in my sights. I'm not getting, so this is an AI wig. It's artificial intelligence, right? It grows like natural hair, right? Isn't that amazing? How this AI wig, grows. And I got the gray streaks coming in. So I don't know. Should I get the box? Should I get the color box back out, or should I just see what happens? We'll see, right? But yeah, man, it's not a wig. It's just been an inside joke on this channel, and you know what? We have fun with it, right? Need to hire a booking agent. Bo, what kind of agent? What kind of booking agent should I do, man? What kind of gigs? I don't think. Here's the deal. I think eventually that stuff, more stuff and opportunities are going to come about. So, here's the deal. You get better guests, which lead to numbers. Okay, but I wouldn't call that a booking agent. A booking agent I would be somebody that would get me gigs. That's what I would get. At this point in time, I don't want to be, I like doing my obscure interviews. I've tried and reached out to some of the big name guys out there, and I don't get a response, even when talking to their agents, sending emails and stuff like that. But I'm out to find the stories of the people, the voices that are the unheard. Get the inside stories. So that's why I'm that's why I'm doing that. I'm trying to find the interviews. Here's the deal. I have a black book. I have contacts. And everybody has, is that, you're asking me that, Chris, if I read Mike's book? Yes, I read Mike's book before he came on the channel. It's a great book. So yeah, we got to make a huge announcement right here. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I got the first interview on this channel with an entire band, the power trio, the Squirts. Right, which is Matt Bissonette from David Lee Roth and Elton John and all that stuff, who has done an interview on the channel. A great guy, incredible interview. And Roger Carter, this is the drummer for the Squirts. He's my old drummer in Shock back in the day. And George Bernard, who was lead guitarist for Rick Springfield for years, and was also in Bo Nasty, which was the Sunset Strip Band. Now, this is a great interview, and that's going to air tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is going to be amazing. And Tim Pierce is mentioned in the video by Matt Bissonette. So, did you try to find Steve Lynch? Chris, I have not. Because after I got off with our session today, I went straight to, drove straight to, got in the shower, drove straight an hour to go do the demos today, drove an hour back, then came back, and the family dragged me out, and then we went to dinner and all that, and now here I am now. Have not had a chance to reach out to Steve Lynch yet. But that's the deal. That's the deal. So I will try and track that down. I'll try to reach out to him. And you know what? I've got some other people in mind that are not just big names. Randy is saying, do you have thoughts about losing insecurities and gaining confidence playing guitar? Randy, that is all about mindset, right? That is all about mindset. How do you gain confidence, right? How do you gain confidence to go out and, back in the day when we were on the Strip, and P-Funk can comment on this, go out and get girls' phone numbers? How do you get that kind of confidence? Well, here's the deal, man. Here's the deal. Well, that helps Bo. Yes, Bo's saying if you know your material, obviously. But that's a given, right? See you, Chris. We'll see you in the morning. That's a given, right? But you want confidence? Go watch Ric Flair videos where he's promo clips, Ric Flair promo clips talking about wheeling and dealing and jet flying and all of that stuff. Look at any of the great athletes, and the ones that were able to sell a fight, the people that were confident, and copy their demeanor, personality. Confidence is a personality trait. And you have to P-Funk, I guess P-Funk, it was easy for P-Funk. It was easy for him, but it still takes BALLS to go up to somebody random on the street and get get a phone number or whatever, and you got to have confidence. Confidence is how you walk in a room, When I went down there to do demos today, I went in there with the phone on the tripod, filming, and I immediately said, we're here in the land, we're here where we sell dreams and, this big magnanimous, entrance and all that. And yeah, Shane, fake it to make it. I mean, look, dude, you could be an amazing guitar player like Alan Holdsworth, but wasn't very confident at all. Then you could be a guy that can play just one note and make it sound good and be extremely confident and win over a crowd. So all of these people saying practice until it becomes easy, that's, of course. But what Rhonda is saying, own the joint. Claude Fox, thank you so much for the energy hungry AI wig, Claude. I need it because it's soaking up all the energy. That is what Rhonda is saying. It's totally different than practicing. Look, you could practice till you're blue in the face, but still not have confidence, right? Because you got to get over those nerves. Turn around those nerves of performing. Turn those around and turn it into adrenaline. You know what? I would just ride that nerves before the gig. That's what will get me fired up. That's better than any energy drink or any caffeine supplement or whatever. That adrenaline of not sure what things are going to go. And, I talk about this a lot, but playing gigs in Nashville with no set list, just showing up, having no idea what the band leader's going to call. You think that causes nerves? It absolutely does. And even if maybe they call a tune that you've never, I've had to play songs I never even heard before. Luckily, I usually am able to pull up a chart really quick and, play the changes and whatnot, be able to play a solo or whatever. But, it is what it is, man. Confidence is dressing to kill, looking your best, going in there, kicking I can remember, going out to LA, right? And roaming that scene, right? Roaming in LA and getting a hang on things and feeling like I was making moves in LA, and then coming home to the little neighborhood bar in Virginia, a little small town bar that, before I would have been, just kind of mellow and, excuse me or whatever. And coming back from LA and going in the men's room, kicking the door into the men's room open with my boots, walking in like fearing nothing, right? Because Hey, man, I'm surviving out in LA now. This is small peanuts in here. So that's confidence. That's a totally different thing than practicing or playing. That's a totally different mindset, just having confidence. And if you have great confidence, you could take a subpar performance and sell the hell out of it. Maybe make that subpar performance a great emotional performance, not a technical performance, but a great emotional performance. So somebody's saying another great question. Val, if you could go back in time, what would you change? What would you do differently? Okay, let's see. What would I do differently? Now, if I could do a video, I'd do it just like this. Right? The David Lee Roth video. Now, if I could do a video, what would I do differently? I would probably not gone through as many singers as we had gone through trying to find the perfect singer, and probably just grab the most reliable guy, the most stable guy, and worked our butts off. I would have improved the image, the brand, the whole thing. I would have put together a whole thing, as opposed to just thinking, let's just write some tunes and look good and and all of that. So I would have completely written better songs. I would have had a complete concept for the band that would have differentiated us from everybody. And I would have focused on those things, creating a package. So as far as the LA stuff, I would have done that. As far as Nashville, I would have networked more when I was there, instead of just thinking I was going to play and people were going to, I wondered for years why I'd be playing my butt off. And I knew I was better than a lot of the guys that were on the road doing big gigs, but I wasn't doing any networking. I was just expecting to play my butt off and get a great gig. So I would do that differently. And, I still got to do gigs. I still got to tour and all that, but I would have done it a lot earlier if I'd have done it differently. Yeah, good attitude in a band, Jamie is saying, is more beneficial and efficient than jamming with a Malmsteen type who's a total jerk. Absolutely. Do you remember a guitar player who worked with you whom I was kind of friends with and called himself Star? I do not, Cadaver. I do not. Back straight and kind of swagger, but I keep it super simple. There you go, Rogue. So Rogue is saying, here's confidence. Dress to kill, right? Find that one screaming note. Keep your back straight. Yeah, confidence is walking in the room elevated, right? Not like this. This is not confidence. You can project confidence. Confidence doesn't have anything. Look, there are guys that are extremely confident that can't play. And those guys don't get too far, right? Because people see right through that, right? But yeah, that's a great point, man. Great point. Great topics tonight, man. Now we've got a limited amount of time here. I don't know if we'll do any overtime today. Funny story, back in the day, David Lee Roth was drunk at a bar with Axl Rose. I've heard that story, Euro. And Sebastian Bach, and said, we've got some pretenders to the throne. Yes, I remember that. And Axl went off the rails. Yes, Val, songwriting is everything. Talk about technique, but people listen to songs. Absolutely, Val. Now, that's not to say, I think, because I wrote I think at one time we had 100 songs on our chalkboard in our rehearsal studio. We had a lot of different material. We didn't just play hair metal. We had what I would call jazz ballads. We had, I would say a lot like Extreme, a lot of different type stuff. That was more of a band like we were kind of patterned after, right? But I would have put even more time into that. I would have put even more time into the songs and the image. I would have put more time into the image. I would have not just, and here's the other thing. Going back to the LA Times, I wouldn't have spent as much time with the girlfriends, right? Girlfriends sidetrack you every single time. And they are just like us. They were bouncing around and we're bouncing around and all that. It was all just a waste of time. That was all just a waste of time. So, that's the deal. Absolutely. Writing quality songs is always a good choice, right? If you write an amazing song with an incredible melody, right, and then put an incredibly tasty solo in the solo section, dude, it doesn't have to be flashy. It doesn't have to be, 30-second notes or sextuplets or whatever the hell. Amazing singing, yeah, it helps. Yeah, you don't need to worry about Susie Cream Cheese. Susie Cream Cheese. And here's the deal. Think about this, man. I think about this a lot now. When I see social media and I see what girls are doing on social media now, whether it's Instagram or, whatever, especially it seems like Instagram now. It's all this like stuff. Can you imagine if girls in the 80s had the social media that they have now? For one, no one would have been paying attention to the bands because everybody would have been staring at their phone at the gig. It would have been a totally different scene and it wouldn't have been as cool. It's kind of turned the whole world into everyone's an adult film actress, right? All those girls back in the day, some of them that were dancers and stuff like that, they would have all been sitting there on their phones, posting their selfies and all that stuff and making money off that. Now, maybe back in the day, there were girls that were dancers that were supporting the bands, right? Or supporting their boyfriends or whatever. But now what would happen is those same girls, some of them would have an OF page without mentioning the thing, an OF page. And maybe some of them would make millions. And maybe some of them would put some of that money into their band, their boyfriend's band. Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. But YouTube is an incredible platform. Now you have your own international channel for free. Thank you, Val. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, YouTube is great. I hope YouTube stays for the long term. It's been here a long time, and I really like it. Were there any musicians in your family when you were growing up? That's a great question, Leah. My great-grandfather had a Gibson guitar, which I have here. It's always in a state of disrepair. I've barely ever been able to play it. It's always got something wrong with it, but it's an old Gibson from like the 20s, I think. And so he played, but my great-grandmother on my dad's side, she had a grand piano. Dude, she could put the music up on the stand and just run up and down the piano. You put any piece of music in front of her, she'd read it and play it and just sing and all that. It was pretty amazing. Paul says his mom sang like crazy. Yeah. So, and here's the deal. When I decided I wanted to start playing music, they asked her if she would teach me. And she says, no, I can't teach. I can't teach. She was, you know, that the music that she would play, man, it would be old. She had all this old sheet music from like the 20s and stuff like that. Shane is asking, when did you first start playing guitar and how did that come about? Man, I've started hearing, you know, Elvis and stuff like that on TV and like it's one of those cheap TV commercials for an album. And it just made me want to play guitar. And so I just kept asking for a guitar. And so that's how that started, man. It started with, you know, 50s rock, wanting to play Elvis and Chuck Berry and all that stuff. That's what got me started. And then, you know, as music changed, I eventually caught up. All right. Mike H., I'm glad to see you here. We've been on for 5 minutes. Shane is asking, what age was I? Man, I was probably maybe 4th grade or something like that. Was that like 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there? Something like that. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, maybe that was like 8 or 9 or 10, somewhere around there. Yeah, well, Leah, you're my great grandmother, man. She was something else. And dude, she would cook these giant Sunday family feasts and have everybody at the house and this big table that sat like 15 people or whatever. And she would cook stuff that today I've never heard anybody make. She would have all this country stuff, man, Virginia country food, right? And I've never had it since. I've never even, a lot of people don't even know. I'll mention something that she cooked and you know, and it's like she just put it out there. We would have collard greens and she made this most amazing vinegar slaw and she'd make fried chicken and the weird fried fish eggs that were like, I think they got out of the creek or something. I mean, it was straight up, it was soul food. Yeah, a lot of it. And I grew up eating a lot of soul food too. So, yeah, man, it was a really interesting garden slaw. Yeah, the slaw that she made, nobody in the family figured out what she put in it to make it the way she did. It was one of those things, once she was gone, the recipe was gone, and I think my dad tried to figure it out, but he never did. So that's the deal, man. Well, look, it's been 68 minutes. It's been a super long day. I'm gonna check out for the day, but hey, I might do a random live this weekend because it's Memorial Day weekend. So here's the deal, man. Thank you all. Thank everybody for tuning in. Have a great Memorial weekend. Salute to everybody that served, right? Salute to Paul, who has served. Salute to everybody. We're going to give a big salute. Salute to Dave, I know, who's been working with some vets. And thank you all for your service, right? And here's the deal, man. Maybe I'll be on here tomorrow. Maybe I'll be on here Monday. Maybe I'll broadcast live from the party across the street, man. So thank you, everybody. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Salute to everybody out there. Thank you for your service. And I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the squirts, dude. Squirts tomorrow, bro. Dude, squirts, dude, it's the squirts tomorrow morning, bro. Squirts, bro. Squirts interview tomorrow morning, bro. Check it out. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.